It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at U-Like, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. U-Like. With Ease US, make studio-quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high-quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional-grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
The Pete Sousa Show. It's almost 4th of July, by the way. And God damn it, around here we love America. So thank God it's 4th of July. I love the 4th. It's such a weird holiday because people are kind of, even now in Central Texas, around Waco where we are, it's becoming a little bit of a ghost town, which I kind of like, you know. It's the Pete Sousa Show. I think I already said that. What are you looking for? Scotty is surveying the studio. Well, it's a little late now, dude.
Well, I'm just doing. You could
have checked this stuff out when you were flirting with Zach Owen 5-10 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh, doing my job.
The Pete Sousa Show is sponsored by Slovacics. This is a great time to hit Slovacics, and I'm not just like playing it up because they're our presenting sponsor, but this time of year, you're on the road, you're traveling. A lot of people are going to be hitting the road tomorrow. We all need a break. We all need a rest on the road. I mean, why not? You talk about R&R. We'll say rest and rejuvenation, because you get a kolache, you get a cold fountain drink, you get a little piece of Texas and some of the TLC they have over at Slovacek's, and you will be on the road and ready to go. Also, Socorro Family Ford, thank you so much. A great place to go check out if you're in the market for a car. Daniel Stark Injury Lawyers, right here and right there. There it is, and right here, right? Crawford Austin Properties, Extra Co Bank, First National Bank of Central Texas. We're stoked, man. Like 54,000 subscribers, I think. Maybe I'm overshooting it. Maybe 53, I think. So great stuff, man. Great stuff. Yesterday's show was great. If you want to check out some of that, go online. We got a bunch of clips up there. And one thing off the top of my head, okay, we're going to talk basketball here. And this is before we're going to talk about this Caitlin Clark thing. But one little note, did we all realize that 3 dramatic ACL tears, Achilles tears or ruptures, have completely changed the face of the NBA? Truly. I want you to just think about this with me. It's not rocket science. Jason Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton, and Dame Lillard. Those 3 guys suffering those Achilles ruptures in the postseason has not only left the East wide open, but has also left their teams, their prospective teams, like unloading. And you know, with Dame Lillard, he's gone. He's not on Milwaukee anymore, right? And that was to make way for Miles Turner. That in conjunction with the Tyrese Halliburton situation. Now, the Pacers did not think that they were going to lose Miles Turner, but now they have. And now they're looking at like, oh, okay, maybe it's like a gap year for us. Celtics, same deal. No Jason Tatum for the lion's share of next year. You know, what are they going to do? Well, we know. They're offloading some big ticket items, and it's going to be the Jaylen Brown show next year. And we'll see what happens in Milwaukee with Miles Turner now. After Dame Lillard exiting stage left, being waived, it's never cost more money for an NBA team to waive anybody than it just did the Bucks to waive Dame Lillard. They'll be paying 5 payments of $22 million for Dame Lillard. So Bucks are going to try to make something happen quick while they got Giannis on the clock. I get it. Women's basketball. Big story yesterday, all over social media, all over ESPN, you name it. Caitlin Clark was voted 9th by the players of the WNBA, 9th best guard by her peers. This led to a lot of reaction, right? And outcry and some moaning and some complaining because people feel like Caitlin Clark is not getting the respect she deserves from her peers. People feel as though there is resentment and jealousy from her peers. Dick Vitale gets involved yesterday. I wrote it down because it was so classic. This is Dickie V, part of his tweet yesterday. Someday they will realize what she has done, obviously Clark, for all the players in the WNBA. Chartered planes, increase in salaries, sold out crowds, improve ratings. The beat goes on. RG3 was out there talking about how Caitlin Clark, this was a disgrace, you know, and he was just kind of over it. That was his overall statement. You know, he wasn't like banging the drum per se, but just was like, hey, this is ridiculous. I have to say, when I saw all of this hullabaloo about Caitlin Clark yesterday, I was at the gym, right? I'm rocking and rolling. I'm trying to get huge over here. And I saw this news, and I was like, you know what? Who cares? Like, really, who cares? Caitlin Clark's going to start in the All-Star game. She's going to be a captain. Like, we're going to get to see her play. Why do we care so much that these other members of the WNBA, who, by the way, are competing with her right now, right? Why do they have to kiss the ring? Here's another thing. I mean, from a logical perspective, last night, the Lynx won the Commissioner's Cup. It was also the 8th game of the season that Caitlin Clark missed. She has played in 9 games, for her. I think she's 13 of her last 47 from three, including a 1 of 23 stretch. Caitlin Clark is amazing, a transcendent player and a generational talent. And what she has done for the WNBA financially, that matters. That's real. Caitlin Clark is amazing. She's like a superhero. At the same time, why are we so concerned with what other people think of her that are playing against her? Like, I think we're giving way too much credit to the modern day athlete. Man, woman, whoever. Like, these are people who are competing. And yeah, I'm sure, like, I always go back to the Michael Jordan when he was frozen out in that All-Star game, his first one. And it was kind of like, hey, like, you got to earn your respect. And people say that was led by Isaiah Thomas. But, like, I know there is a little extra that Caitlin Clark receives, right? From her peers in the WNBA. Like, it's pointed. We've had guests on this show who know way more than me about this topic mention that, there's certainly something happening there, right? Maybe a little bit of resentment. Sure. But why are we so wrapped up in this? Like, let's talk about something that matters, okay? Caitlin Clark's shoe was released on Monday. Nike stock has gone up like, I wrote it down here because I wanted to make a note of this. The stock has gone up 17%. That's like amazing, right? Like, that is a number. It's real. It's concrete. It's do-re-mi for Caitlin Clark and for Nike, right? So are the chartered planes, the sold-out crowds, like the salaries that are slowly but surely going up for these young women. This sport is exploding, right? Why are we so concerned that Caitlin Clark gets her just due in a poll? By the way, if you weren't paying attention, let me remind you, Tyrese Halliburton was voted the most overrated player by his peers in the NBA. Like, nobody was losing their mind. Like, nobody, like, and I get it, it's two different situations, but we need to kind of step back here, get away from the fire, and not be so reactive and so crazy about this stuff. And you know what's really cool? Watching a little bit of last night's game, and then seeing some of the celebration when the Fever won the Commissioner's Cup. Like, Caitlin Clark's having a blast. So, like, if she's having fun, right, and she's going to be a starter in the All-Star game, she's going to be a captain too. Was the #1 vote getter. Like, why do we care so much about this? It's a lot of, like, negative energy. And again, like, the numbers, like, you can sort of back up these players. And some of their sentiments are what they're thinking. Like, yeah, she averages 19 points a game and 9 assists. Her shooting has been down because of the nagging injuries. And she also has struggled with turnovers. That's no secret. And, like, the Fever are, I think, like 9-8 or something. Like, they're around 500. Like, at the end of the day, like, she got voted into the game. So, like, why are we so wrapped up? I can remember as a kid, and again, we didn't have all the outlets, and it wasn't so hyperbolic with, like, what's going on now with Caitlin. But, like, if a guy, God, I'm trying to think. There's a lot of easy examples. Like, guys who were hurt for the whole first half of the season, and the fans would vote him to the All-Star game, like in baseball, let's say. A good example is escaping me. But in the same instance here, like, Caitlin Clark being the #1 vote, you know what we could say? We could all be sitting back and saying, why is she the #1 vote getter? She's only played in 9 games. She's if she misses one more game, she'll have missed as many games this year as she has played. My point is, we're out of control now. We literally, and I love, look, man, I love gossip. I like to a weird degree. Like, I don't want to say I love gossip. I'm interested. When I was a kid out of college, I moved to New York. I discovered the New York Post, and I read Page 6 every day. And I thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. That's my stuff, okay? But other people feel the same way I do. They just go watch The Real Housewives in closed doors or in closed off rooms, or nobody knows and they don't tell anybody about it. I am honest here, right? And transparent. This is all junk food for us, and whether we like it or not, we consume it. This Caitlin Clark, all this, it's junk food. It's no good. It's watching teenagers fight each other at a bus stop on social media when you just keep scrolling. Simmons and Russillo were talking about that this week, and it was actually pretty funny. 1.2 million people voted for Caitlin Clark to be in the All-Star game, okay? Like, again, 13 for her last 47, right? I just don't understand, like, where the outcry is and why it's so sweeping. There was one more thing about this. By the way, we got Taylor McHargue coming up. ESPN, CBS College Football, quarterback for Rice. The only quarterback in Rice history to lead the team to back-to-back bowl appearances and the first conference title they won in like 60 years. He's going to talk to us about Big 12 quarterbacks. As we wrap up this Caitlin Clark point, I guess I want to finish up by saying this Yahoo report that I read about these shoes, right? The Nike Kobe 5s that are now completely sold out. You can only get them on secondary markets. Like that is awesome, right? And again, like the last thing I want to reiterate this again, not the last thing. It's in the numbers. Like she's going to start and be a captain in the All-Star game, right? The contract she signed with Nike was $30 million. $30 million bucks. Okay, on top of all the other sponsorships she's getting, like the fact that like the rest of the WNBA doesn't want to give her flowers. I hate that statement, but like we can't get so wrapped up in that. Scotty, you got any thoughts on this? Nothing. What do you think? Let me ask you.
I'm gonna stir it up if I give you my thoughts.
Go ahead. Give me. We got like 2 minutes before Tyler's going to be here. I do want to hear what you think about it.
Okay. The only way Caitlin Clark gets ranked 9th among players is there is a large group of players that did not have her on the ballot at all. And that's just petty, dude. I'm not getting worked up. I mean,
no, I know. Yeah,
I'm not trying to get way too worked up about it. But
that's an observation.
Nobody went through their ballot and ranked Caitlin Clark 7th or 12th. Like, I'm sure there was a bunch of people that ranked her top 3 and a bunch of people that just left her off the ballot.
Yeah.
Thus, she lands at 9.
Yeah.
And that's just like
so
that's crazy to me,
is.
bro.
It is crazy, but at the end
the
of the
amount of revenue and eyeballs she is generating for your sport, it is crazy. It is crazy the pettiness of it.
But at the end of the day,
it's crazy.
We're probably talking about like really maybe like 20, and I'm guessing here, maybe 20 or 30 young women out there who are just like, screw this, and they have set the world on fire. Everybody is like, the women you're mentioning that potentially just left her off the ballot to bring the overall average down.
Yep.
Like, and now we're so reactive to that. It's insane.
My reaction is I every day walk a little closer to the dark black hole that is the suggestion that I believe I've seen Dave Portnoy make and maybe some others that Caitlin Clark should just leave the WNBA, start her own league, and watch what happens. I think that would be amazing. Won't happen. But like that black hole of like negativity and observation becomes more appealing to me every time something like this comes out. I'm like, I would love to see what would happen if Caitlin Clark was like, screw it, I'll do my own thing.
What are your thoughts as a Baylor guy when you see RG3 like get so involved? I mean, like he had a tweet. I didn't finish reading it. I was like, this is
I didn't see it, to be honest with you. After he and Ryan Clark went back and forth on that whole thing, I'm kind of like,
nothing's out of bounds.
But he's a sports commentator. I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
And he's got 4 daughters. Like, I get it.
How about the fact? Here's another thing too that nobody's talking about. If you look at that list, Kelsey Plum is like, she's all the way down at the bottom too, and she leads all guards in scoring.
Yeah. That's just dishonest. It is stupid. Like I just want to okay, let's not pretend like LeBron James wasn't and still isn't very polarizing There's definitely some jealousy around the league for the attention he gets from officials, from fans since he was 18.
Yeah.
And yet there is not a single NBA player who's filling out an all-star ballot who's like, I'm leaving LeBron off.
No.
Ever.
No, that's
You know what I
true.
mean? So that just it bothers me. It bothers me. But that's okay.
All right, is Taylor there?
He's here. You want to talk to Taylor?
Yeah, let's bring him up. That's just you, man. That's no good.
That's not what we wanted.
Taylor McHargue, there he is, ESPN CBS college football analyst. What's up, brother?
What's up, guys? How are we? Thanks for having me on.
Dude, thanks for joining us. I want to get right to it. We got so much going on in college football now, and all this crazy stuff we're talking about, like with Caitlin Clark and social media. But now we're a month away. I mean, next month is college football, brother. So I got to talk to you, a gunslinger, about quarterbacks in the Big 12. My first question is this esteemed class that's coming in this year, or that's put together and will be taking the field this year. Do you feel like this is the best quarterback group in a conference in the country?
I think I would put them up against any other league in the country in terms of the total depth of the league. We were just at the Manning camp this past weekend, and one of the things that we talked a lot about was just high level, how solid the quarterback depth is as compared to last year's class. All right, you had last year's draft class, I thought, showed pretty well that it really wasn't a very deep class. Guys like Shador Sanders and Quinn Ewers slipping late in the draft that I think a lot of people thought were going to go higher than that. The Big 12 this year, you've got a couple things. You have a number of guys that are projected to be high round draft picks the following year in 2026. But also, you've got a lot of guys that have returning action. They've played before, they've played meaningful snaps and starts under their belts. And got to see a number of these guys throw last weekend at the Manning camp. And I would say for the health of the league overall, yeah, there's a lot to be excited about with some of these returning starters coming back in the Big 12.
My man Todd McShay was already banging the drum for Sawyer Robertson, just mentioning how he really impressed at the Manning camp. What was the buzz around him there?
Yeah, I got to we lost to him in 7-on-7. My team got annihilated, but I got a chance to spend a little time with him, and big, strong, athletic guy. These guys are all running around throwing in t-shirts and shorts, and they all look good from that perspective. But I enjoyed getting to visit with him as a person. Seems like a really mature kid from Lubbock, Texas, and was somebody that would be easy to pull for. And you go back to his performance last season. I mean, best QBR in the Big 12, and we talk about those meaningful snaps. I think that's going to translate well for him going into this 2025 season. But that was somebody that you could tell had a lot of respect from his peers, enjoyed getting to visit with him, and again, just an easy person to pull for.
I knew you were there. I didn't know you were coaching a team. So who was your squad?
Oh man, my team was the Riders. We were not very good. I think we won one game over the 3-day camp, and I can't even say we had great effort. This was we did our best though.
What was the best moment for you, the most interesting moment that you weren't expecting that happened at the Manning camp? Something fun.
Yeah, we had a chance to. John Gruden was there, Coach Gruden, and gave an awesome speech to the staff just on where the sport is at and how difficult, whether you're a high school coach, college coach, if you're somebody in the media, whatever, it's an interesting time in the sport, right? And with the portal and how much things have changed just in the last 5 or 6 years. But he talked a lot about still how amazing this game is. It's the best team sport in the world, and that we all need to have that love for the sport. And Pete, I know you do. I know I certainly do. And these coaches that were in the room, it was one of those speeches where you get that from Coach Gruden, and you want to go out and play, or you want to go out and coach, or have your game right after that. Because man, he's still got that fire. Ends every speech with "Knock if you're with me," going back to the Hard Knocks days. But he was awesome.
He's got you thinking about winning another conference title out there.
That's right.
In Houston. All right, Avery Johnson. It's exciting to see the possible further development for him this year under Matt Wells, new offensive coordinator at Kansas State. How do you think that'll impact his performance?
Yeah, got to see Avery Johnson last year in their bowl game. I had the bowl game with them at Chase Field and with ESPN Radio, and For Avery Johnson, I think it's a couple things. Number one, he's certainly one of the top 5 athletes at the quarterback position at the country. He may be the best athlete at the quarterback position in the country. I think for Avery Johnson, it comes down to decision making on plays when it's not there, right? Trying to make too much happen in situations, and that's true for a lot of young quarterbacks, right? You want to make too much happen, make plays happen off script when you're that the level of athlete that he is. I think that's where you'll see some maturity come from Avery Johnson. But make no mistake about it. This is a Player of the Year in the Big 12 caliber athlete. It wouldn't surprise me. You want to talk about dark horse Heisman contention? I mean, he's got that level of ability. And if Kansas State goes on a run, if this becomes a playoff team, and he steps his game up and elevates from where he was last year, this absolutely is a guy from a talent standpoint that could be a Heisman finalist.
How much, in your experience as a quarterback playing at Rice, I'm not quite sure about the consistency you had at OC, but how much can that affect a quarterback? Like that kind of change, like, okay, a brand new offensive coordinator who can help mold me. Is it harder at times, or is it always beneficial?
Yeah, it really depends on situation. I would say in general, you want to have consistency. I think that's true across the board. I think there are certain instances where a new OC comes in, and depending on what level of success you had previously or how they were coached, sometimes it's a better situation. And maybe not even necessarily X's and O's, but how is that OC communicating with their quarterback? Are they doing everything they can to prop that guy up, make them feel confident? And that remains to be seen. It's talking season right now. It's easy for every team to have a lot of belief and faith in what's going to happen in this fall. But for Avery Johnson, again, to me, I feel like being around him a little bit, that's a very confident player. He knows the ability that he has. I think for me, it's going to, again, come down to how does he handle not trying to make too much out of plays when it's not there. And regardless of the OC, that's something that just comes with maturity. But in general, yeah, you would love to have. I had 3 OCs in 4 years as a player. I would have loved to have had just one the entire time, because I think in general, kind of rule of thumb, you would love to have that consistency.
All right, we talked to your CBS Sports teammate last week, Shahan Jayaraja, about what Texas Tech has done this offseason with help from guys like Cody Campbell, infusing resources into that program. Baron Morton, though, is at the head of the snake. I mean, you've got all these brand new toys coming into town, but you still have Baron Morton coming back from an injury, and I would imagine playing under a lot of pressure this year, whether it's warranted or not. What does he have to do this year for Texas Tech to reach their full potential? Because quarterback's the most important position on the field, regardless of how good everybody else is.
Yeah, I think from a pure passing standpoint, I think this Baron Morton may have an opportunity to be the best in the league in terms of being a passer, right? We just talked about Avery Johnson and his athletic ability, but this is Baron Morton's 3rd season in this offense, and I had them a few years ago when Tyler Shuck was still on campus, and Baron Morton, they didn't know what they had in him, but they knew that he was this prolific high school passer. I think you've seen him grow up over the last few years, and you talked about coming off that injury a year ago. But this is a guy, another example in the Big 12 of somebody that has meaningful snaps. He's played a lot of football at this point, and the success that he did have last year throwing the football, his accuracy down the field, I think this could be, again, I'll say again, maybe the best pure passer in the league.
Where does BYU go from here? It's a loaded question, but I got to ask you.
Man, for who they have on campus, I think it's wide open. I think you're going to see, and if I'm BYU, I'm holding this all the way until their opener against Sac State. And don't be surprised if you see a number of guys get reps through their non-conference schedule. They host Stanford after that. They have a sneaky, tough road trip to East Carolina. I think that is a game that they absolutely should win. But don't be surprised if they get all the way to league play before they've really settled on a guy. But for any program, right? This is the worst scenario, whether it's through an injury or the portal. You go into this offseason really feeling confident about your quarterback position and feel like, man, maybe we've got a really good shot at getting back to college football playoff. And now you look up and say, man, we've got a wide open quarterback battle. Three guys that I would say, again, if you're BYU, you're not giving out any information on this. You're going to let them go through fall camp, get through the scrimmages, hold that as close to the vest as you can, play at least two of them when you play against Sac State, and really would not be surprised if you see them play multiple quarterbacks in the month of September.
Oh, that's great stuff. That's super interesting. All right, a couple more for you before we get out of here. Utah, right? As far as the odds makers are concerned, they got as good a chance as anybody to win the Big 12. Now, I know you saw Evan Dampier at New Mexico calling games for CBS. Is he the guy? Like is he that good where he could step in? I mean, because that situation last year was a nightmare for Utah quarterback. So nowhere to go but up. But is he the guy that can move them forward?
Yeah, for me, in terms of quarterbacks that have moved around in the offseason, this was one of my favorites because Devin Dampier's game, going back to his time at at New Mexico, this is a dynamic athlete, 1,100 yards and 19 touchdowns on the ground last year. And when you think about Utah, right, this is a defense-first program generally, and they take care of the football. They want to grind you down, and they play a physical brand of football. And to me, Devin Dampier matches that on the other side. He is a dynamic athlete. He is a physical quarterback. And I think you're going to see Utah continue to lean on him running the football. But to me, I thought this was a puzzle piece that fit in really nicely with Utah. And one of the things about Dampier, I think he makes good decisions with the football in the passing game as well. Would not be surprised if you see them really be even more of a run-first offense this season. And I loved this for Utah. And like you mentioned, Pete, this shored up a position that last year at Carousel, and what a mess that was. I think this solves that for Utah this season.
All right, one more football question for you. Obviously, you don't want to say the cupboard's bare at Colorado, but a couple big-ticket items are out of there, right? In Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Caden Salter comes to town. What is your excitement level around him, and what's the reality that he can step in there and pick up where Shedeur left off?
Yeah, I'm as curious as anybody else with Caden Salter because I had him the last two seasons at Liberty. And in 2023, I thought he was one of the best quarterbacks, not only certainly in the group of five, but he was one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the country. Last season, he was banged up a little bit, was dealing with a little bit of an ankle, and I felt like he regressed. I felt like you lost a little bit of that, the magic that he had in 2023 when he kind of came on the scene. They were missing a little bit of that in 2024 with him at Liberty. So I think he's flashed and he's had enough success from his time at Liberty where if you're a Colorado fan, you have a lot to still be excited about. But which version of Caden Salter do you get? If you get that 2023 version, man, you got a lot to be excited about if you're a Buffaloes fan. But I would imagine he's fully healthy at this point. And, can he return to that form, I think is what everybody should be paying attention to.
All right, a lot to be excited about talking with Taylor McHargue. Dude, thank you so much for taking the time. And let's link back up here soon. I got to get some more out of you as we head towards football.
Absolutely, Pete. Thanks for having me on.
All right, Taylor. Thanks, bud. Take care. Taylor McHargue. By the way, well, let's react to that. Scotty, I know you got some quarterback thoughts. Taylor's just I knew obviously about his success at Rice. I didn't know, I knew he was a quarterback at Rice. I remembered him. I remember some of the numbers, but I didn't know how people think of Rice as it's an afterthought in the world of college football.
Big time.
He resurrected. I don't even think resurrected. He put that program on the map. They won the conference when he was there. That never happens.
Yeah.
It hadn't happened in 60 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
All
right, we'll be back. We're going to talk about Big 12 quarterbacks. I can tell Scotty doesn't have much on Taylor McHargue right now.
I'm not as well studied.
The Pete Sousa Show rolls on, presented by Slovacek. Stay with us.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. That's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extra Co. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extra Co. has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extra Co.
I don't know, if Bubble wasn't here, I don't know what people would be doing, like making PowerPoints or something. Bubble allows you to make it real and for it to actually work. So I feel like Bubble bridges that gap and being able to give people the opportunity to make their ideas come to life really quickly too. I love that I can sit down and build something the way that I think it should be built and have the control over it.
Bubble turns ideas into fully scalable apps. Try Bubble today.
Hi, I'm Jo from Face Theory. You're going to want to have a specific goal for your skincare routine. What do you want to achieve? Active ingredients are really strong, and if you're using too many at once, your skin can get overwhelmed. Don't overspend on products. Choose products that have scientific research behind them. At Face Theory, if you're not happy with a product, just say so, just give us a shout and we'll give you your money back, no problem.
I know you're gonna love this Kodak Dot Plus printer. You guys just connect it to your smartphone and then you're gonna use the Kodak Photo Print app. It's going to print you a 4x6 photo. I am just in awe. I love how these turned out. Also, the printer comes with a free cartridge of 10 photo sheets. I can assure you, you are going to love this printer as much as my family has. You guys have to check it out for yourself.
Streamline event and appointment booking with Amelia's sleek, modern, and fully customizable booking forms. Tailor the colors, fonts, and design to match your brand and seamlessly integrate with your WordPress website. Whether it's for events or appointments, Amelia makes booking simple, stylish, and perfectly aligned with your business. Enhance your booking experience today at WPAmelia.com. That's WPAMELIA.com. Amelia.
When you learn a language with Babbel, you start a journey that takes you further and further. Anytime and anywhere you wish. It's easy and fun. Broadens your horizons and keeps your brain fit. A journey into new thoughts, new cultures, new adventures. So what are you waiting for? Start your journey with Babbel now. Go to babbel.com or download the app.
BadCreditLoans.com is a pioneering service provider that has carved a reputation in the financial industry for its dedication to helping individuals with bad credit secure loans. By making timely repayments, borrowers can gradually repair their credit history, thereby increasing their chances of securing better loan terms in the future. BadCreditLoans.com serves as a beacon of hope for those with bad credit. Simple, fast, and reliable loan application process. And its commitment to responsible borrowing makes it a trusted partner in the journey towards financial stability.
All right, it is the Pete Sousa Show. I'm trying to figure out why Burt Reynolds keeps coming up on my Twitter feed. I guess I click on some of those, like the movie stuff, and so now I'm looking at it as I'm going through here. I got a clip of the movie Stroker Ace. You ever see Stroker Ace? Dude, great movie. It's basically Burt Reynolds is a race car driver. And it's him and the guy Gomer Pyle and Jim Neighbors, I think his name was. It was like a comedy. Lonnie Anderson's in there. I think it was when Burt and Lonnie were together. It's awesome, dude. And the guy Parker Stevenson was like the Hollywood heartthrob at the time. He's like the new hot race car driver trying to like take out Burt Reynolds. It's a great movie. I think, of course, you got your Dom DeLuise.
You know, you're talking about race car drivers. F1 is killing it at the box office.
Dude, I'm going to go see that this weekend.
You're going to go see it this weekend?
100%. Yeah.
I'm unashamed shill, dude. I've got tickets to see Jurassic Park tomorrow.
Oh, really? That's a movie guy. I like that, dude.
Dude, and it's one of my favorite directors that made this one, and it's not getting great reviews, but I'm going to go watch dinosaurs for 2 hours.
As movie goers, because I'm a movie goer, it's almost as though it's like everybody in a country, they disagree about all this other stuff, right? But when their country is attacked, they all come together.
Yeah.
Right? So, like, I don't care what movie you're going to see. If you're going to the movies, I got your back.
Yeah, let's keep movie theaters open.
Yeah, you're on my team. All right, let's keep the football conversation going.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, that's why I'm looking at Stroker Ace, because it was released in July 2nd, 1983. That's why. Okay. EA Sports, they put out their rankings for college football quarterbacks. And there were some surprises here. And the second guy, I think, sort of piggybacks, the second ranked guy on this list, sort of piggybacks off of what Taylor said. We were pressed for time. I didn't even get to ask him about Sam Levitt, which is my bad. But you see, Sam Levitt is 4th, right? These are Big 12 quarterbacks ranked in the top 20 of college football 26 rankings, EA Sports, which, by the way, means just about as much as Caitlin Clark being ranked 9th in the Players Poll. Nevertheless, what do you think of this list, Scotty?
Yeah, I think Sawyer Robertson is being 20 is a joke, but that won't surprise anybody. The one that shocked me, Sawyer Robertson's an 88 overall in the game, ranks 20th over amongst quarterbacks, and Blake Horvath at Navy is 90 in the game, which Blake Horvath's a baller. Like, I'm not taking anything away from that guy. I liked watching him play last year, but that dude can't throw the ball half as well as Sawyer Robertson.
No.
So that's funny to me. But I actually don't think this top 5 is insane. I did want to make the comparison.
Please.
That's not. I've done that by accident multiple times today. I did want to make the comparison while we're both here. Here were our list from a couple months ago.
This is a sore spot.
I know it is, Pete, but these were our lists, and so just compared to the college football 26 rankings, I am right here 4 for 5. I'm 4 for 5.
This doesn't mean anything.
I know it doesn't mean
anything. You were
anything.
just complaining about Horvath.
Let's just observe. I'm 4 for 5. They agree with me that Caden Salter belongs in the conversation. I think it's insane they don't have Josh Hoover ranked in the top 20. I think Hoover's really good. And then you went 2 for 5.
This is not. I had no idea that I was trying to measure up to EA Sports.
Well, I'm
trying to measure up to real-time football on the
Pete,
gridiron.
I'm not criticizing you. I'm just comparing.
Sure seems like it.
I'm just comparing our list to the list we were looking at.
Go back to the EA Sports.
Yeah.
So, because I don't have my glasses on, so you got that's Baron Morton, right?
No. So it's Sam Levitt is number 4 overall in the game. Avery Johnson would be the second best Big 12 quarterback. He's the 11th best in the game. Then Caden Salter from Colorado, 15.
Who's 18?
Rocco Becht from Iowa State.
Gotcha. That's what
and then Sawyer.
Okay.
And to be fair, I think I saw, and I could be wrong, this is the Big 12's graphic.
Yeah.
I want to give you a little credit. Awesome. I think Jake Retzloff is also an 88 overall like Sawyer is.
Yeah.
So he would be in this too, were he not transferring out of the Big 12.
Okay. By the way, I get to pick another quarterback in my list.
That's fine.
I had Retz. It's not fine. It's totally warranted, right? I mean, I got my quarterback.
I mean,
my quarterback left campus. I get to. I don't play without a quarterback.
I mean, these takes were from a couple months ago. So when you picked these, they were all valid.
Yeah. Do you think now? I didn't get a chance to talk with Taylor about Jalen Daniels. Now, do you think that's one of? Do you think I'm really overestimating?
I do. Here, let me throw your list back up here. I think, and again, it's not. We talked about this ad nauseum. It's not a knock on Jalen Daniels. When I think this is the deepest quarterback conference in the country.
Yeah.
He could still, I mean, he will. Jalen Daniels will get invited to go to like rookie mini camps next season and compete to play in the NFL. He's that good. But he did regress last season, man. And I don't know how much of that's on him versus the offense versus that whole team really was a few steps below where we thought they'd be.
Yeah.
But he did not play nearly, I mean, he was the preseason offensive player of the year going into last season. Do you remember that?
Of course I do.
And then, I mean, Kansas won 5 games. So that's a pretty disappointing season last year for Jalen Daniels.
So what are your thoughts? Because now I like this Big 12 talk. Let
me put up the superior list real quick. There we go.
Please do, because I don't want anybody scrolling through Twitter seeing, like, this is a live video out there right now, seeing, like, why the hell's Pete Sousa still got friggin'
they need
to
see the superior list.
The superior list. So what are your thoughts about no preseason rankings for the Big 12? You know that's happening, right?
I did see that.
They've done away with the top 25 preseason.
No. I thought
I'm sorry. With the preseason,
the AP is still going to put out their top 25
with the preseason,
which I think is a way bigger problem than a preseason poll.
Okay.
I think preseason polls by media create a lot of really fun conversation. I think it helps promote your conference. I don't know how it hurts you. That's what I haven't seen in this conversation is like, how is the preseason poll for the Big 12 hurting the conference?
Well, I can tell you, and I think I might have some decent insight.
Tell me.
And this is like as a guy who and this isn't too.
Have you gotten a vote in any of these?
No, I haven't. But and this isn't too much like inside baseball, but I know last year when we were doing, I'm going to do it again this year, Inside the 12, college football, college basketball show. You can see it on all your local Big 12 markets and on YouTube. But we, a lot of times last year, we would have in the show and we would really illustrate how badly prognosticators got that wrong.
Me too.
I mean, it was the talk of the season, really. For remember that,
yeah.
And at no point was anybody like, these idiots don't know what they're doing. I know I didn't think that because I know that once the season starts, school's out. Bullets start flying, and with the injuries, right, for both Oklahoma State and Utah at the quarterback position. Oklahoma State, I had
them in the Big 12 championship game preseason last year.
We didn't understand that quarterback. You know who did understand was Drake Toll. He was all over that quarterback situation. Alan Bowman was not that good. And I think that I thought he was going to be good enough, and he was not. But I think there was maybe a little bit of I don't want to say embarrassment, but it was okay, this is a lot. All season long, all we did was talk about how the teams predicted to finish last were first, and the teams
but that created a better sports story.
Did it though?
Yes. The fact that nobody knew anything about Kenny Dillingham and how good he was going to be. The fact that nobody knew that the best player, arguably in the country, but certainly in the conference, was going to be in the backfield at Arizona State. That made that ascendancy to me as a Big 12 fan who didn't participate in these polls, right?
Yeah.
But watching what Arizona State was able to do, that completed the underdog story, and I don't know. I liked it.
I think
it made it intriguing.
I think that there's a possibility that the powers that be, and I have no insight on this, but the powers that be were that looks a little Mickey Mouse. We're trying to punch with the heavyweights, right? I mean, you never see Vanderbilt get picked last and finish atop the SEC.
Okay, but here's the Big 12 defenders like me. I'm amongst them.
I'm not. Look,
the way we defend the Big 12 is not to say that champion Arizona State is equivalent to champion Georgia. The way we advocate for the Big 12, and this has been true for over a decade. This has been true since Baylor and TCU were fighting to get in the first playoff in 2014.
Yeah.
The way we advocate for the Big 12 is our top dogs can't always beat your top dogs, no doubt. But top to bottom, this is the most competitive conference in America.
Oh, yeah.
And I think last year illustrates that. So you're saying it's embarrassing. Who's it embarrassing for? Not the conference. I think it's embarrassing for the media, maybe. But I don't see how that hurts the conference at all. And maybe I'm just ignorant or blind to it. I don't know.
Well, there's another thing at play here too, and I think that it's a shrewd move by the Big 12 is to get transparent about the fact that with all the movement in college football,
you don't know
what side is up. So anybody predicting these teams, you don't.
But
no, I'm serious. You don't know. Even with Texas Tech, you have all these resources that have come to town, right? You've got this blitz of great players, right? Former 5-stars, current 5-stars, whatever. But you still got Baron Morton is your quarterback.
Yeah, they could finish first or eighth in the conference.
They could.
We don't know.
They could, and I don't want them to finish eighth, but that's how wide open I think it is. And I believe that when the transfer portal probably has more to do with it than anything.
Yeah.
I really do. I think it's very hard to get a firm handle on what is going on in college football today.
Yeah. I think so. I agree with your sentiments. I guess my thing is a preseason conference poll doesn't bear a lot of weight when we get to the mid-season. Like by mid-season, we were like, oh crap, everyone was wrong. Oklahoma State sucks and Arizona State's
It doesn't
really good.
matter, though.
What does matter, and what I wish we would eliminate, is the AP preseason top 25. Because that is often weighted heavily toward big-name programs, heavily toward the SEC. Texas was in that preseason poll every season, even in like 2016 when they were like a 5-win team in the Big 12. Texas was in the preseason AP top 25, right? And I think that has potential to negatively influence like a playoff committee, negatively influence like Baylor, for instance, and we've experienced this before 10 years ago. When you start outside that AP top 25, you almost have to prove 6, 7, 8 weeks in. You have to be undefeated, and then you might be ranked like 10, 9. Like, oh, we've climbed in there because we're proving it. Whereas if you start number 2, you lose 3 games, but then you win 6, well, now you're number 10. Because there's this bias, there's this confirmation bias that happens with that top 25. I don't know that has any, like, reality in a conference preseason poll, but it definitely has a reality in the national conversation.
That's an astute point. What would you do if you do away with that? How do you come into the season measuring these teams? And because it's a huge – forget about the fact that it's an awesome conversation piece for college football. And it lends to the sport and its excitement and anticipation and hype and ultimately TV ratings, blah, 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 blah. I mean, when the season starts, to have those rankings up on the screen is alluring.
But it's stupid.
It is.
Like what? Like
it is in some respects.
Who's pumped if they put out the rankings next week and Clemson is number 4? Like Dabo Swinney doesn't care. That team hasn't earned anything. They could end the season with 4 losses.
Yeah.
Like it's just I find the preseason rankings to be weird.
Yeah, but we need them.
And so okay. This now we're missing each other and I'm confused.
Yeah.
Why is it smart to get rid of the Big 12 preseason poll?
Because it doesn't mean anything. Because you and I just said it has nothing to do with like how the
Agreed.
postseason.
But why does that same logic not apply to the AP top 25?
Because I think
because that doesn't mean anything either, and it's based on nothing.
Well,
it does influence outcomes.
So then it does mean something.
So we shouldn't do it.
Well,
is my argument.
But I feel like it's all like you kind of harness. I mean, there are so many teams in Division I football.
Yes.
Right, and they're all fighting for these like. It's not like the NCAA where you have like 68 teams getting in or whatever.
But none of us need the preseason August AP poll to tell us who's going to be good. None of us need that. We know
you don't need it.
No, anybody who watches any amount of Saturday football.
But my dad would have. It's not so.
So do it after week 3. Give it 3 weeks.
Okay.
Put out your first AP poll.
I'm not here to be like somebody who's totally like arguing with you. Like, I can do that.
So here's a question, because I don't remember. Was Florida State ranked in the AP top 25 going into last season?
Oh yeah, they were.
How asinine is that?
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were.
How freaking stupid is that?
Yeah.
That's way worse than anybody thinking Arizona State wasn't going to be good last year.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Well, and now you got the other side of it where it can really screw you up if you're like a coach or if you're a quarterback because the expectations are out of control.
Well, so that's my point, right? If you're at Florida State and you're ranked top 25 and then you finish so badly, it puts unnecessary weight on your coach, your team, whatever. This is going to happen. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen with Baylor this season. If you're ranked outside the top 25, you're going to have to go 8-0 to get into the top 5 when really you might have been able to start there from the jump.
I'm going to tell you something that's going to be hard for you to digest.
Tell me.
So
I know I'm biased.
The NCAA, or not the NCAA, college football as a whole, right? They're not so much worried about you because you're in.
I'm worried about.
No. But you're in, right?
Yeah,
as
right.
far as a fan and the interest and the passion, you're in.
You're right.
Now, there's other people who are like, I'm kind of in. And all of a sudden that poll comes out. And all of a sudden the conversation starts. It's real football talk, as close as it can come. College football cares more about bringing those people to the table than it does giving you your second helping.
but I'm not.
And also, too, one more thing, and I hate to be this guy because I am the king of the underdogs, but you've definitely got like some Baylor PTSD that you're bringing to this conversation.
I do.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like,
1,000%.
And
2014 was very hard.
but I'll tell you, too, like, you shouldn't have that because Baylor is in the Big 12. Like, Baylor is, they're not like a group of 6 or whatever the hell they call them now, teams.
Yeah.
Like Baylor legit, if Baylor goes and kicks ass this year, they'll get to the playoffs.
You're right.
You know, we're not talking about like Delaware moving up to Division I for the first time.
You're right.
Or Coastal Carolina, who's been there going on a run. So I don't think it should concern you as a fan that much, but I also, as a very knowledgeable college football fan, I am here for all your insight on that.
Yeah,
like,
I just find it, I guess.
And truly, your argument is better than mine. I wasn't prepared for this.
I wasn't either. I find it funny if it's like, well, getting rid of the Big 12 preseason poll is smart, but let's keep the national ranking that's also literally based on nothing but hype.
Yeah.
I just think that's
What is the number one argument as to why we should keep it?
I don't know. I'm asking you for that.
Yeah, I gave you mine.
Yeah.
I think it's for.
Yeah.
I really do believe. I believe it's to generate interest for the casual fan outside of the sport, and to give the college football playoff committee, unfortunately, and this is where you
That's
get pissed,
what's screwed about
a
it.
blueprint.
Right, but that's what's screwed about it. It's like, was it Georgia Tech that beat Florida State in week 1?
In Ireland.
And everyone's like, whoa, Georgia Tech, that's incredible. Look, they might be a playoff team. And Georgia Tech was decent last year. Like, they were pretty good, turns out. But that win meant nothing, actually, in the scope of the season.
And you're serving, like, the point that I'm trying to make is that Joe Tessitore calling that game in Ireland, the first game of the football season with a ranked Florida State team getting upset.
Yeah.
That was great TV.
And it looks stupid 2 months later.
But in the moment, it generates, right, the interest. It brings people to the table.
Yeah.
So there's two sides of this. All right, we'll take a break. We'll wrap it up. That was actually a great little conversation. The Pete Sousa Show. As we wrap it up, we will be here tomorrow. We're not going to be here on Friday, right? Friday we're off. Yeah. No, we're not going to be here on Friday, so we're going to be waving the flag, as everybody should be. Honoring the great stars and stripes of the United States of America. Quick break, and we'll be back to wrap it up. The Pete Sousa Show continues.
Did you know nearly all stock price changes of 10% or more result from a single news headline? These news catalysts create trading opportunities every day. All you need is a little help to reach out and take them. It doesn't matter if your investment budget is small or big. All you need is Benzinga Pro and its powerful news alerts, price tracking, and portfolio monitoring. Subscribe now, and we'll skyrocket your portfolio today.
OsleyMD.com. I've always had thin hair my whole life. It breaks off at a certain length. In the last 6 months, I've noticed it just really bad. I mean, you could totally see it. I wear a hat a lot. I tried several different products. My experience with the Bosley MD hair regrowth kit was amazing. It was easy to use. It let me take off my hat. I could go in public and have my picture taken and feel normal again. OsleyMD.com.
Golf Partner, the world's largest golf store network, offers more purchasing opportunities than anywhere else. With a dominant market share and a wider selection of quality secondhand golf clubs than our competitors, we make it easy for you to enjoy the game with affordable, top-quality equipment. Join us at golfpartnerusa.com and discover why we're the trusted choice for golf lovers worldwide. That's GOLFPARTNERUSA.com. Golf Partner.
Since 2003, Bluehost has been empowering people to harness their brands online with innovative web hosting solutions. Trusted by over 2 million users, we're the longest-running WordPress.org recommended host. With Bluehost, you get a safer, better web experience, supported by the world's most popular site builder, and backed by our commitment to open source projects. Visit Bluehost.com today and take your website to the next level.
Experience the future of secure private cloud storage with Internex. Protect your files with end-to-end encryption, ensuring your data stays private and accessible only to you. Enjoy seamless, fast storage without compromising security. Visit Internex.com today and take control of your digital life. That's INTERNXT.com today.
Apollo Neuro is a new kind of wearable that helps your body recover from stress. It's like a wearable hug for your nervous system that helps you calm down and feel better. The Apollo wearable will send gentle vibrations to your body, like a song you can feel instead of hear. You feel better, you sleep better, and you can get back to being yourself. Learn more at apolloneuro.com.
Protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Browse securely, access content from anywhere, and keep your data safe with military-grade encryption. Whether at home or on the go, NordVPN ensures your digital freedom. Stay secure. Download NordVPN today at nordvpn.com. That's NORDVPN.com. Elevate your experience with Grenco Science, the leaders in cutting-edge vaporizers. Whether you're at home or on the go, our sleek, powerful devices deliver smooth, consistent hits every time. Quality you can trust, innovation you can feel. Grenco Science. Take your vapor game to the next level. Visit us at GrencoScience.com.
It all began with a simple idea, cutting handles off old ski sticks to create better pull-up bars. This sparked the creation of the revolutionary Engels 90 handles. After testing over 70 prototypes with 300 athletes, our patented handles were launched in 2018. We continue to push the boundaries of strength training. Join us in making your training more natural and effective. Visit Engels90.com to learn more and revolutionize your workout.
Pete Sousa Show continues to rock and roll. We're just going to wrap it up right now. Quick segment for you on what to watch. And this is like a powerful what to watch. So it's not for the faint of heart, but it's an amazing documentary. It is called Save, the Katie Meyer story. And it's about a goalie, a women's goalie from Stanford. It's an E60. It explores her life and the impact that, you know, she took her own life. Right before she was going to graduate at Stanford. I mean, a horrible situation. And, you know, just to give you a Cliff's Notes version of it, it is like the most emotional ride you can take if you're a sports fan and also an empath as a person. It shows her climb to being one of the best goalies in the country. In women's soccer, playing for Stanford, they won a national championship, and it was like, it was amazing. And you know, ESPN and documentaries today are, I don't want to say thrown together, but I believe that they're in such demand now with all the true crime and all that stuff. People love documentaries that I think some of them are kind of flim-flam, right? When the group at E60 gets together, and they are like, okay, we're going to tackle this subject. And when you think of E60, right, you think of Jeremy Schaap. You think of studs like my boy Dave from Springfield, Massachusetts, who is my main man. We worked together at a radio station in Springfield, and now he's big time. And he works on these E60 docs, but that's not why I'm talking about it. But they just do such an amazing job. Julie Foudy, obviously the legendary women's soccer player, is the narrator. And they take you on this journey. And basically what happens is, you know, Katie Meyer ends up sort of like sticking up for a friend on campus. And she gets like, you know, the University of Stanford is trying to take her to task for this, like officially. And she feels like this could affect her future. And she doesn't know what to do, and she doesn't have the resources. And it would seem, and this is what her mother says on the documentary, that she just was overwhelmed with panic and stress, and made the ultimate mistake, right? And took her own life. But you want to talk about honoring her, and you know, not only is it a tribute to her, but it also like enables her legacy to move forward. There's laws now, I think, at the University of Stanford in particular, or Stanford University in particular, about, you know, having, basically she gets not charged, but they are going to, hold her accountable for this thing that she's accused of doing. And basically, she just stuck up for a friend, like she threw a drink on a guy, whatever. And watch the documentary to get into all those details. I'm not here like reporting on this like, Brit Hume, for lack of a better journalist to bring up right now. But it's been the documentary, and her story has been an agent of change going forward, because sometimes on college campuses, these students will be getting prosecuted for something they did, and you don't have any representation or any advocate. You just go in front of, the board of whatever, and they're like, here's your punishment. And she didn't know what to do as far as who's going to represent her in this. And it's a tragic story, but it's a compelling one. And it's inspiring on a lot of different levels. And her family just seems amazing. And tip of the cap to the folks at E60. But, you could just find it on ESPN Plus or whatever. But I watched it last night, and I was like, wow. I was like, definitely, it hit me right here. So somber way to end the show, but also a good way, impactful way. Check that out. Save the Katie Meyer story. E60. Documentary on ESPN. The Pete Sousa Show will be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extra. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference, because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me, and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is Stark.
We are Rogue Media Sports.